You ever been at the beginning of a race weekend and realized you forgot something? Well, Alex Rins did, and it wasn't his bike or his gear, it was a functioning arm, because our man has ended his weekend before it has even started. So stay tuned to this episode of the Road Racing 360 show presented by 1833 CJ Knows to find out what I'm talking about and more from the world of road racing as we get into it this week. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If you have not yet, please go and hit the subscribe button. It would be awesome to us. Please support the show. I'm not asking for money, but I do need your subscriptions, please. Just keeps us going. You know what I'm saying? Another big thank you to our show sponsor, 1833 CJ Knows Accident and Injury Law. They ride, they race, and they know the law. 1833 CJ Knows Accident and Injury Law will get you taken care of if you have been in an accident or wrongfully injured. So give them a shout. They'll get you taken care of. Also, if you have not seen it so far, please go check out our behind-the-scenes video of our race season, a new series called Under the Visor. The first 2 episodes are out so far. Please go check them out, give them a like and share, and let us know what you think. Now jumping into this week's news in MotoGP, it's going to start with a tragedy, and we have to start the show with this because this is actually a very serious thing. But unfortunately, last week in Mugello, we did lose Moto3 rider Jason Dupasquier. Rest in peace, Jason. It's really, really hard to lose a racer like that, especially in these circumstances. So our thoughts and prayers are with Jason's family and those that are, close to him. Very unfortunate, incident in Moto3 qualifying that unfortunately led to Jason losing his life. So yeah, that's with his family. But jumping into the racing action that did end up following that on Sunday, we did get a result in MotoGP that is not what I expected. Now, last week, I did say that I predicted a Ducati to win, and that's not what happened. I was totally proved wrong by Fabio Quartararo. He just went out and dominated. It looked like a classic Jorge Lorenzo race where he just got out front, clicked off really solid lap times, and just went faster than everybody else. The man ended up winning by a few seconds and just kind of displayed his dominance and showed that he is trying to take this MotoGP title by storm this year. Now, the battle for the last 2 podium spots was pretty exciting. We did see Miguel Oliveira and Joan Mir battle it out all the way to the finish line. Oliveira would cross the line in second and Mir third. But right after the finish, it was announced that Oliveira had a penalty for exceeding track limits, which would be a trend we would see a lot of this weekend. And so originally, they had deemed that he had exceeded track limits by the slimmest of margins, which would bump him back to third. And so, they thought, okay, we got third, still on the podium. But then it was announced that Joan Mir also had exceeded track limits. Therefore, their penalties pretty much canceled each other out, and both would finish in the respective positions that they crossed the line in. Miguel Oliveira second on the KTM with their new updated chassis, and Joan Mir coming home third. Johan Zarco comes home fourth. Brad Binder makes it 2 KTMs in the top 5. Jack Miller comes home 6th. Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia 7th. Maverick Vinales 8th. Danilo Petrucci 9th. And Valentino Rossi rounds out the top 10. We would see both Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez crashing out on the first lap. Their race would end before it really got going. And then Alex Rins and Taka Nakagami would also crash, but much later in the race. They would see the majority of the race before unceremoniously sliding off into the gravel. Going to Moto2, this was an exciting one. We saw the KTM teammates of Remy Gardner and Raul Fernandez battle it out all the way to the checkers. It would be Remy Gardner taking the victory over his teammate by 0.014 seconds. It doesn't really get much closer than that. Incredible battle there. Well done by that team. They have really got it figured out this year. Coming home third well, should I say crossing the line third, would be American Joe Roberts. But as I mentioned, that track limits kind of thing would come back into play here. And although he crossed the line third, he did exceed track limits by like this much. It was like hardly anything. But MotoGP didn't really care. They said, sorry, brother, no podium for you today. And they just yanked it from him just like that. So it would be Marco Bezzecchi taking third place at the Italian Grand Prix, which means Joe Roberts would come home fourth, and Cameron Beaubier made an incredible charge from somewhere starting in like 26th position or somewhere far back like that. He would charge all the way through and end up picking up 8th position. So incredible ride by him. Well done for him to get a top 10 finish. Moving to Moto3. Moto3 was a typical just dogfight. It's incredible how these Moto3 races turn out, and the top 11 riders would finish within a second, which is just insane. Think about like how short 1 second is and the fact that the top 11 riders cross the line in that amount of time. But it would be Dennis Foggia who would win, Jaume Macias second, and Gabriel Rodrigo third. At this point, man, it's like Moto3. You just gotta send it on the last lap and play it right and make it happen. But until then, you just gotta stay in the group. But I really, don't know what it's like to ride a Moto3 bike, so I can't really talk from experience. So for you haters, I know I'm not that good. Wraps up the news from Mugello. Now we are moving on to the news outside of just the on-track action. As I mentioned before the show in the teaser, Alex Rins will not be racing this weekend in Catalunya, and it's because he broke his arm on a bicycle at the track before the weekend even got going. So beforehand, he was out cycling on the track. Something happened to where he crashed and ended up fracturing a bone in his arm, so he will not be racing this weekend. So actually, if you tune in right here, we have top secret footage of Alex Rins on his bicycle right here. So tune in. Look. I know, absolutely crazy. But that is what ended his weekend. Now he has had a bunch of DNFs this year, so kind of a bad trend continuing for Rins. Crashing his motorcycle, crashing his bicycle. Two wheels are just not real friendly to him right now. Now we have a few announcements regarding the silly season for next year already working itself out. It was announced that Remy Gardner would sign with Tech 3 KTM for 2022. The Australian and son of Wayne Gardner will be making the jump to the Premier class with the Tech 3 team, sticking with the KTM brand that he has been winning races with so far this year. Really awesome to see another Australian move up. I'm excited to see how he finishes out his Moto2 campaign and then on to MotoGP. Another KTM rider would make a contract signing, and that would be Brad Binder. He would sign a 3-year extension that will keep him in KTM colors until 2024. Another set of contract renewals would come from the Pramac Ducati team. Both Jorge Martin and Johan Zarco did announce that they would be staying put with Pramac for the 2022 season. I believe both are deserved, as both have shown that they deserve the seats they have. And while there are not a ton of openings for next year for them to possibly move up to a factory team, I think this is a great spot. The Pramac team proves that they give bikes that are capable of winning races, and they have the support to do so. So this is a great spot for these guys to be until maybe they do get a shot on a factory team. It was announced this week that Maverick Vinales would be making a personnel change. Vinales and his crew chief Esteban Garcia would be making a change to Valentino Rossi's ex-crew chief Silvano Galbucera. So Garcia, who was Vinales' crew chief when he won his championship in Moto3 back in 2013, will not be sticking with the team. And now this was not a decision made by Vinales. This was actually a decision that came from Yamaha themselves. So in the past, we have seen Yamaha riders make decisions themselves to change crew chiefs after struggles, believing it would give them a better shot to win. That was not really the case here. Yamaha believed that they would be better off switching after Vinales has had recent struggles while they have been seeing his teammate Fabio Quartararo take race wins. So we'll see if this changes the fortune for Vinales and maybe is the key to getting him to consistently be where Fabio seems to week in and week out. We will see Moto America back on track next weekend at Road America, as well as MotoGP this weekend in Catalunya. So stay tuned, go watch some racing, and then come back to us to see what you missed. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you next week.